Hi there guys, so this is going to be the next video here. We're going to be going through the game settings. Just a little bit of a background here. I am running on an AMD Ryzen 2600X Vega 56 air boosted GPU. I have 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, 1 terabyte of M.2 SSD, 1 terabyte SSD, and 1 terabyte of hard drive space. I have a dual monitor setup at 180p and 60 hertz per second refresh rate. So this game was released on 12/10, so one day ago. It is currently December 11th, 2020. And I went through the character creation if you're interested in seeing that. I did the female character, so that seems pretty big right now. Go ahead and check that link in the description. For these general settings, as you can see here on the top right corner, I am running at 66 frames per second. The temperature is about hovering around 70 degrees Celsius. GPU fan is right there at 1600. I'm using 10 gigabytes out of my RAM out of 32. So this is definitely going to be one of those games where you need to have at least minimum 16 gigabytes available. If we're going to go into settings here under graphics, just some key pointers. If you're like me, you're someone that's waiting for those Ryzen 5 5000 series to come out and the RTX gaming cards. Right now, as you can see, I have an average build, and kind of just waiting for those to come out, and hopefully I'll be able to run these graphics higher settings. Without further ado though, I would definitely recommend installing this on an SSD, whether it be an M.2, that would be preferable, but if you just had an SSD available, the game install was 60 gigabytes. But if you're going to be looking at downloadable content in the future, I would say at least have 100 gigabytes available on that SSD. Going further, if we're going to look at the graphics settings themselves, the first part you're going to be taking into accountability here is ambient occlusion right here. If you read that description, it basically produces natural shadows in the areas where regular shadows lack precision. So that is going to be, if you turn that down to low, you're going to see an increase of about 5% for your frames per second. So I was averaging 60 frames per second, which is fine for me because with my monitors, getting anything above that won't make too much sense. I'm already at 60 hertz per second. So I kind of prefer having it high anyway, but it might save you on your actual hardware within your computer running at lower temperatures maybe. Going further, volumetric fog resolution. So right here, if you read that there, the quality of the fog around the player due to dust or other particle matter in the air that produces realistic beams of sunlight and color gradients with a scene. So if you turn that down to low, you're going to see about a 10% increase with that as well. The next is going to be the screen space reflections. So right now I have it on ultra. We're going to turn that bad boy down to low or off depending on what you need for your build. So with that, turning it down, you're going to see about a 10% increase as well. The next is going to be cascaded shadows resolution. If you turn this down, you're going to see a high frames per second increase, anywhere from about 15 to 20%, and you can reduce this as necessary. So we'll go down to low here. And then the shadow quality options. So let's see. You can turn down these, you can turn off these. Anything having to do with shadows, you should turn down maybe to at least medium, if not low, depending on your build itself. I'm going to leave those where they're at. I'm going to just focus on those big ideas. Ray tracing, again, you can't have this unless you have a DXR ready graphics card. Right now, as I've said before, I have a Vega 56 air boosted. Moving on, I'm currently again on the AMD Ryzen, and so With that, I am focused on AMD for this video, but I will go over DLSS. So DLSS stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling, and this is big for NVIDIA. It's really focused on those RTX cards. So if you're waiting to get the RTX series 3070, 3080, 3090, this is going to be huge for you, because basically what they do is they upscale the image to a dedicated resolution, and it increases your frames per second by upwards of even 50%. So um, it's incredible. Um, so if you do have an RTX card, I would definitely turn this on. For AMD, however, we're going to be focusing on dynamic fidelity FX CAS and static fidelity. And so for the difference between these here, as you can see, is to maintain a consistent frame rate. So if you wanted to turn that on and you wanted to kind of limit your frames per second, you could do that here. You could go all the way up to 240, or you could stay down to 10. I'm going to hover right at, well, I'm going to do 60. And then minimum resolution, and you can also change the maximum resolution as well as needed. You can't have dynamic and static together, but the difference is here, static will help you maintain a consistent frames per second, and it'll do the rendering for you. So if you wanted to turn that on, you can check that out as well. So I'm going to keep this one on. Well, actually, I'm going to keep it off for now just to show you what it's like. We're going to go into the game. So it still looks very similar. I am now getting 10 frames per second more than what I was at. And GPU fan is up. RAM utilization right around the same time. Same amount there. And yeah, that's pretty much the best tips I can give you for your settings. As you can see, I'm still on Ultra for all of my other settings, so I'm still running pretty deep. And if you guys had any more questions, I would be happy to answer them in the description below or in the comments below, and I will see you on the next video.